Hey, it's Christian Martin. Welcome to Your Offer. In this module, we're going to cover what an offer is, what makes an offer effective, how do you create one, how will you know when it's good, and why would people work with you, which is what you're probably most interested in. Like, how do you actually get somebody to say, yes, I'm interested, and then talk to you and then hand over the credit card? Because here's the thing. Digital advertising in the US is now a $30 billion larger market than TV advertising. That means it's surpassed TV advertising. Total digital ad spending in the US will grow 19% to $129 billion this year, 54% of total US spending. What does that mean for us? It means that the money is there for the taking. Okay, this industry is huge and it is growing. This is very real and the opportunity is massive and it's only getting bigger every year. Next year, there's going to be even more opportunity than this year. So for some reason, a lot of people are always worried that they missed the boat. They always think that it's too late now. And these types of people generally never stick with something long enough to get results because they always think that they need to be on to the next thing. Where the truth is, these industries are still in their infancy. This is the future. This is where everything is going. All of the advertising budgets are moving here, and the industry will only continue to get bigger. This is the place you want to be. This is ground zero. You're getting in at the perfect time, okay? Now, whether you win the business or not, clients are spending money on marketing, and they'll continue to spend more. On average, companies spend 10 to 13% of their revenues on marketing. That means that a company that makes $500,000 a year will spend about $50,000 a year on marketing. That's more than enough to pay your fee. A company that makes $2 million per year will spend about $200,000 a year on marketing. So you can see there's plenty of money to pay marketers to get them results. Now, if this seems like a lot, a business that's making $2 million a year, it's not. Lots of businesses make millions of dollars a year. But if you are not exposed to that world, that might seem really weird to you. But about 3 million businesses in the United States make more than $1 million a year. That's a lot of businesses. There's about 15,000 ad agencies in the United States. And that means that every single ad agency would have to have 200 clients just to serve all of the businesses over $1 million per year. Now, obviously, all 15,000 do not have anywhere close to 200 clients. That means there's a lot left over for us. And that leaves out all the businesses who make between $200,000 and $1 million a year, who can also be great clients, especially when you're starting out and you're not looking for those really, really high retainers. Because those businesses that are making millions of dollars a year, they can generally pay you a lot more money, $5,000, $10,000, or even much more per month to get them results. And that's because the work you do is going to have a greater impact. The bigger the organization, the bigger the impact of your work will be. So there are plenty of businesses to go around. According to Forbes, 543,000 new businesses get started each month. This industry will never be saturated. So the question then is, why aren't you rich yet? And the answer is because nobody cares about you. This is a harsh lesson that some people need to learn in business. Nobody really cares about you. They only care about what you can do for them. And the cool thing about that is people don't care how old you are. They don't care where you grew up. They don't care what country you're from. They don't care what credentials you have. They don't care what your education is. All they care about is, can you do something for them? So it doesn't matter who you are, where you came from, what you look like, what you identify as. None of that stuff matters in business, okay? All that matters is the results that you can provide. That's something that's amazing about business. It's like the great equalizer. Now, money comes from other people. Sometimes people are confused about this. I know I was when I started out in business. I thought it was this magical thing to get money, but money comes directly from other people. That's the only place that it comes from. And so in order to get paid, you have to ask someone to pay you. That's the only way to get paid. You need to ask for your piece of the pie. And remember, that's a big pie. That's billions and billions of dollars a year. And you just need to ask for a very tiny share of that, right? But you have to give your clients and customers a good reason to share, okay? So imagine walking up to a stranger eating pie on a street corner. Now, I know that's chocolate cake, but just to use your imagination, imagine that that's pie, and you walk up to them on the street corner and you ask for a piece, and you're a complete stranger and they're just trying to enjoy their pie, and here you come and you ask for some of it. What are they going to say? They're going to say no, right? Because you haven't given them any good reason. Now imagine if you offer something in exchange for that pie. Maybe you offer them a ride home, and maybe they're on the street corner because they don't have a ride and they're waiting for the bus. Maybe they would really like that. Maybe you offer to share a drink, so maybe they have pie but they're really thirsty and they need a drink, and you bring them something from the convenience store. Maybe you offer to listen to them talk. Maybe they're out there looking for friends and they want to share their pie as long as somebody will talk to them. Or maybe you have pizza and you offer to share your pizza with them, and then you guys eat pie for dessert. But you can see you're bringing something to the exchange. I know these examples are kind of silly, but you have to understand, like, this is the same transaction thing. It's like you offer them something, and in exchange, they give you something in return. So if you offer these things, what are they going to say? Maybe. Some people will take you up on that. Some people are still going to say, "Who are you, you stranger? Get away from me." Okay? But what if you offered something even better? What if you walked up to them, you offer them a new car, or you offered to be their personal butler for a year, or a trip to Mars? What are they going to say then? Well, if they don't believe you, again, they're going to say you're crazy. But if you can prove it, they're going to say definitely, right? Join the conversation in their mind and offer them what they're looking for. Again, everyone's looking for something different. Some people want a drink, some people want a friend, some people want to ride home. You need to join the conversation in their mind and figure out what they want. And you won't know what they want until you investigate. But if you have a great offer, they will share their pie enthusiastically, okay? If you have a great offer in business, money will be plentiful. That's how important this stuff is. It's one of the most important things you could focus on in your business. It's one of the highest leverage activities is getting a good offer. Now, why do people get help? Why don't business owners just do marketing on their own? That's something a lot of people wonder when they get started. And it's understandable why you would wonder that, but there's a really simple explanation, okay? Why do people get help? They don't know how to do it on their own, and they don't want to learn. They don't have time to do it on their own. They've tried to do it on their own, but they weren't successful. They've tried getting help, but they didn't get the results they wanted. Now, some of you who have never run a business don't understand that it's the business owner's job to put the right people in place, right? It's not the CEO's job to do every job in the business. Their job is not to do everything themselves, okay? This is what a typical business owner's life looks like. This is from a client of mine. She says, "My life is simply insane. I'm in the office now. Call me anytime. If you get voice, I'm on the other line and I'll call you right back." Business owners don't have the time or the desire to learn or do marketing themselves. Marketing is just like graphic design or accounting or operations or any other function in a business that a business owner has a budget for and will hire out, okay? So not every business owner is going to keep their own books. They're going to hire a bookkeeper or an accountant. Just like business owners aren't going to do their own marketing. That's not their job. Their job is to guide the ship and put the right people in place. And this is not hard to verify. Just go look at any business. The bigger ones are going to have whole departments that do marketing. The smaller ones will have a dedicated person. And when you get smaller than that, if it's a real business, they're going to have an outside contractor in place to do marketing. So just for those of you who wonder, like, why don't they just do it themselves? It's because it's a specialized skill like anything else. Just like bookkeeping or graphic design, you need to understand how it works to get results. Now, for you and for any other business owner, there's 3 ways to make more sales in your business. You can make more offers. That's what we call traffic. You can get more people to say yes to your offer. That's what we call conversion. And you can get them to say yes over and over. That's lifetime value, like how many times your customers come back. So right here, we're going to focus on conversion, getting more people to say yes. The better your offer, the higher your conversion rate. But here's something I have to point out for you. People don't really want Facebook ads and funnels. In fact, they don't want to pay anyone for anything. They really don't want to change. People want to just keep doing exactly what they're doing, unless they're not really happy with how things are going. In general, people want to move away from pain and towards pleasure. So, when the pain of staying where they are is greater than the money they pay you, they will happily pay. And that's because they get more in return from what they're giving out. Okay, so what are some examples of this? Well, in a previous pie example, like maybe the pain of giving up one piece of pie is less than the pain of being thirsty. So they got a drink in return and they'll happily give up that piece of the pie, okay? Now in business, maybe the business owner doesn't have enough leads. Maybe they're spending too much time on marketing. Like maybe they're doing it themselves. They're getting great results, but they're just spending too much time and they want to spend more time with their kids, or they need to focus on another part of the business. Or they were temporarily in that position until they figured it out, and then they're going to put somebody from the outside in place to handle that day to day, okay? Maybe they know they need to do marketing, but they don't have time. This eats business owners up inside. Like their competitors out there out marketing them, and they know they need to do it, but they just can't make the time to do it. They'll go crazy thinking about that. Maybe they're bad at marketing and they need great marketing to grow. Maybe they're getting the wrong kinds of leads in their business. Maybe they have enough leads, but it just takes too much time, as I said before. Or maybe they have somebody in place doing their marketing right now and they're just sick of them and they want to get rid of them. That's certainly possible. So when the benefits of working with you are greater than not working with you, they will also happily pay you. So that's moving towards pleasure. Remember, away from pain, towards pleasure. We want to avoid pain and go towards what feels good. So what feels good to a business owner? More revenue, more clients, exactly what they have now, but with less effort from them. So maybe they have the perfect business right now, but they want to step away. More time to spend with their families, more impact or recognition, beating a competitor. Again, competition is huge in business. If people see their competitor out there and they think they're getting an edge on them, they'll do a lot to beat that competitor. They'll hire marketers, they'll try new things, they'll spend money. Maybe they just want peace of mind knowing that marketing is handled. So it's this thing that's always eating them up in the back of their mind, and they just want that peace of mind knowing somebody's in place to handle it so they don't have to think about it. Business owners have way too many things to think about. And maybe they just want to create excitement in their business. If you run a business day to day for years on end, it can get very tedious and very boring. And so sometimes people just want to shake things up, do something new for fun, and they're not afraid to risk a little bit on a new marketing budget or a new project to make their business fun again. Okay, so these are basic human needs, and this is what we're always selling to. We're selling away from pain and towards pleasure. Humans across the board, they have the same basic human needs, and we can appeal to these. So the easiest way to do this in what we call B2B, which just means business to business, which would mean you're a business and you're selling to other businesses. The easiest way to do this is generally to save them time, make them more money, decrease their costs, or remove problems. Now let's talk about how to present the offer to them. Remember, the offer is when we walk up, somebody has a piece of pie, we want that piece of pie. What is our offer to get that pie? So this is the formula we're going to go through. Number 1 is the promise. 2 is the product. 3 are the terms. 4, urgency and scarcity. And 5 is the call to action. So let's take a look at our trial offer. This is something most likely all of you have seen up to this point. And let's talk about this trial offer and why it works. So we'll go through this with each part and break down why it works. So I'll read this for you real quick. Do you or someone you know need help with Facebook ads for your business? If you have a business and you've been wanting to get more leads, sales, and automation with Facebook marketing, I'm looking for 1 to 2 trial clients. I'm working with Christian Martin to learn how to build funnels and do Facebook marketing. I'll put in the hard work to get your funnel up and running and profitably producing sales for free if you're a good fit. I just need you to supply a small advertising budget. This will be in exchange for a testimonial and portfolio submission. Just respond to this post or private message me and we'll talk about next steps. So let's see why this works by looking at the 5 parts of an offer, okay? Part 1 is the promise. Your whole business is based on one big promise. My whole business is based on one big promise. And every niche I go into, we create a new promise and we will base the business around that promise. So a way to think about this is Instacart doesn't sell grocery delivery. They sell your time back, okay? That's the promise, is that you'll get your time back. Fiverr doesn't sell outsourcing. They sell the feeling of getting something done without having to do it yourself. So let's look at an example of this. Here's a receipt I have from Fiverr, and if you've never heard of Fiverr, it's this site where you can get small tasks done for $5 or more. And here's what they send you after you book a job on Fiverr. Here's your receipt of doing, and then in the email it says your proof of doing. So what they've figured out is that business owners sometimes just want to feel like they're getting something done. It says you've officially accomplished something today. Here's your proof of doing. So you can see we're selling to basic human needs there. Now, specificity matters. We have to figure out, what does the customer care about most when making offers? Let's look at one of the most famous offers of all time in the history of marketing. It is Domino's Pizza 30 minutes or less. What is that, 4 words? That's 4 words, and it is a groundbreaking offer that changed the game in terms of pizza and marketing. Let's talk about that. What could Domino's have offered? They could have offered the best tasting pizza. They could have offered the lowest cost pizza, the most variety of toppings. They could have done something like offer unlimited toppings for free or the best ingredients. They could have offered singing delivery men. There's a million things they could have offered, okay? There is literally an unlimited amount of things we can offer, but we just want to figure out the one thing that gets people to order. Again, we don't want to spread our focus. We don't need to talk about everything that we're offering. We just want to find that one emotional hot button that's going to make people take action. So people, specifically Domino's target customers, cared more about getting pizza in 30 minutes or less than anything else. Here's a quote from the CEO of Gap. He says, "These companies that are in trouble are trying to target everybody. Young, old, fat, skinny, but then you become totally vanilla. You don't alienate anybody, but you don't excite anybody either." So he had gotten in trouble because people thought this was exclusionary. But a business doesn't exist to serve everyone in the world. If you try to make everybody happy, you will make no one happy. If Domino's tried to make people that loved gourmet pizza happy, people that wanted just the cheapest pizza possible happy, people that wanted all the toppings for free happy, and then people that also wanted pizza in 30 minutes or less happy, guess what would happen? They wouldn't really be good at any of those things. They decided just to double down and focus on one thing. So we want to focus on an offer that gets the right people to pay attention. Now, how do we know what this is? Do we just need to think this up? No, we ask. Have you ever seen focus groups, maybe in a movie, or maybe you've been a part of one in real life? This is where they bring in customers and they talk to them in conversational format. They just ask them about the product and what they like. And Domino's Pizza most likely either did this with a focus group or just by talking directly to customers. They figured out that their best customers care the most about this one thing. And they decided, you know what, we're not going to sell the best pizza. We're just going to sell the time saved with quick delivery. And then once you hit that emotional hot button, you want to double, triple, and quadruple down on it, okay? Once you find this, you can run it for years and years and years. This one sentence will be the driver of your business growth. So Domino's created the 30-minute guarantee in 1984. This guarantee helped make the company the world's largest pizza delivery company with 5,300 locations, okay? This offer ran completely unchanged for 9 years, from 1984 to 1993. But the only reason they ever got rid of it was because there were legal repercussions, okay? It's not the safest offer and some bad things happened. But know that they didn't change it because it stopped working. It's just because there were some accidents because delivery drivers were rushing to get there. But here's the deal. They still run a variation of it today in the United States, and in other countries, they still run the same offer. They're no longer allowed to run it in the US exactly as it was, as a strict offer, but they still do in other countries like India, and they still run a slight variation of that today in the United States. So what people care about will be different for every market in every business. We basically just want to remove their biggest pain points with our offer. So what are people absolutely fed up with that your offer could be an answer to? How to get blank without blank. This is a common formula. It's a great place to start for your offer. And it's as simple as how to get hot pizza without waiting for more than 30 minutes, right? That's an offer that works. So let's look at some examples of promises. Here's an offer for a lead gen agency. I help roofing companies get more jobs on autopilot to grow the business without paying up to $2,000 to a roofing broker or relying on sites like HomeAdvisor with high cost per lead prices. Now, how did I come up with this offer? Because you might be saying, well, Christian, I would never be able to come up with that offer. I don't even know what HomeAdvisor is, right? Well, I was on the phone with a roofer and she said, I hate paying the roof brokers $2,000 per deal. She said, we're getting all our deals through roof brokers right now, which are people that generate leads and then they sell them to roofing companies. And the roof companies pay them up to $2,000 per deal. Now, this is a lot of money they're giving away. So you can see they have a huge budget for new customer acquisition, which means they could easily pay you $2,000 a month if you can bring them more roofing deals, right? But again, I did not come up with that on my own. The roofing broker told me what I needed to know for that offer. So maybe Domino's was on the phone with customers and they kept hearing, I just want pizza that gets here quick because I hate waiting for pizza. You know, if I could just get it in 30 minutes or less, I would order from you every time. And that's where it comes from. So let's look at another offer. I help HBL practitioners implement a proven system to get more HBL clients. We can get your system up and running as soon as next week so you have new clients automatically scheduling intro sessions and showing up at your office. Now, how did I come up with this one? I think you can probably guess by now, but I was on the phone with a practitioner and she said, I just need new clients to walk into the office. I can take it from there. If we can get them in an intro session, they turn into customers. So what did I do? I offered them the ability to get new intro sessions on autopilot and get people showing up at the office because those are the words they used to describe their problem and their desired outcome to me. So again, there's no possible way I could have come up with this offer on my own. What is good about this offer is not that it sounds great, it's that this is what people are telling me in the market. So just some tips about what we just went through. Serve one type of customer, speak in the language of your market, solve a painful problem, and provide a desirable outcome. Let's look at another one. I help real estate agents get more customers with Facebook advertising. Is this a good offer? No, most likely this is not a good offer, but it all depends on context, okay? This is a bad offer because generally real estate agents want more deals, more listings, more closings, and they don't call their clients customers, okay? They're not going to talk to you on the phone and say, I just want more customers. They're going to say, I just want more listings in this neighborhood, or I just want more closings, or I just want more buyer leads. There's a lot of things that they could say, but if you talk to them, you'll know they generally don't say, I want more customers. So one conversation with a real estate agent would tell you this. Sometimes I'll see people post an offer and they're talking about their real estate offer and calling them customers. It's clear they have not even done one single Google search around real estate agents. Otherwise, they would know this, okay? Now, the real estate agents could also say, everybody says this, what makes you different? This is their level of awareness. This is how many times they've heard the same offers already. Now, everyone's level of awareness is different, so you're not going to know until you talk to the market if they've heard that offer too much already. So I might change my offer and I might say, I help you grow your pipeline without spending $10,000 a month on useless Zillow leads, okay? Now, is this a good offer? Sounds good, right? It's in the language of the market, so that's a good start, but it depends how agents respond to it, if it's a good offer or not, okay? So let me tell you what does not make a good offer. That it's grammatically correct. It does not matter if it's grammatically correct. When people flip out on ads because there's a spelling or a grammar mistake, they're missing the point. That's not the goal of an ad, of an offer, is not to be grammatically correct. These people have just been conditioned too much in school to think the goal of everything is to be grammatically correct. No, the goal of marketing is to produce a result. So if we can misspell something and get a better result than if it was spelled correctly, in this context, that is a better offer, okay? So grammatically correct does not make a good offer. If it sounds really good, like it might sound really good and you think it's a good offer, no, that does not mean that it's a good offer. A lot of people make this mistake. A lot of branding experts make this mistake because they think if something looks really good, that it's a good offer. Or if it sounds really good, it's a good offer. No, that's not the case. If your brother, sister, friend, parent, coworker, spouse thinks it's good, it does not make it a good offer unless they're ready to spend money on it, okay? So there's a distinction there, is that the only people that can tell us if an offer is good or not is people that would spend money on the offer. And they vote with their credit card, not with their words, okay? So what does make a good offer? Your clients and customers are interested in learning more. That's a great start, okay? Even if you haven't sold any offers yet, if you're getting people to reach out and say, hey, yeah, I want to learn more about that, that's a really good sign. And then your clients and customers want to buy. That's a great sign that you're on the right track with an offer. So let's look at the trial offer again. Our promise in this offer, since we're talking about the promise, is if you have a business and you've been wanting to get more leads, sales, and automation, I'm looking for 1 to 2 trial clients and I'll get your funnel up and running and producing sales for free. That's our promise, right? That's what we're going to do. How do we know it's a good offer? Here's just a couple screenshots, like a dozen screenshots, but I have hundreds and hundreds of these screenshots. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them. Now, how did we get all these? Because this offer works over and over again. That's how we know it's a good offer, not because of the way it sounds, not because of what it includes, just because it consistently produces a result, okay? Keep that in mind throughout this process. That's the best indicator. Now, crafting a great offer comes down to market research, as I mentioned. The biggest shortcut, if you're listening to this right now and thinking, what's the fastest way to get a good offer, is spend time talking with your market. Virtually, that means through research, which we'll show you how to do. So you don't even have to get on the phone to start, but then also over the phone and even in person. If you can just have lunch or coffee with these people, you're going to learn so much from one conversation. So a couple of years ago, I took up boxing, and for a couple months, I'll go to these boxing classes and we would hit the heavy bag, and I started to get really kind of good at it. I thought I knew all the moves. I was like, oh yeah, I'm pretty good at boxing. And so they said, do you want to come to the Saturday sparring class? Every Saturday at 8 a.m. we have sparring, and you can come and spar with somebody in the ring. And I thought, yeah, I think I'm pretty good at boxing now. I'll go to sparring. And so I went to sparring, and I just absolutely got my ass kicked. Like my elbows, I would hold them out too wide, and so people could get in there and like punch me in the kidney. I wasn't blocking properly. I was using like way too much energy to move around. And I just got in the ring and realized like I might think that the moves I'm doing are right, but what actually determines if you're good at boxing or not? It's how you perform in the ring, right? And here's the thing. When you get punched in the face because you forgot to hold your left hand up to guard your face, you learn so quickly that you always want to keep your hands up, right? So you might go months just hitting this heavy bag and never learn to keep your hands up, which is a basic fundamental thing in boxing. You might go 2-minute round in the ring, and all of a sudden you never drop your hands again, because you know what happens if you do. You get punched in the face. That is real world experience, and real world experience shows you where to block, where to dip, where to dodge, where to punch, and where to attack. And it is the same thing in business. You can practice business in isolation for 100 years. You still will not learn as much as you will from 1 2-minute round in the ring. That's just a long way of saying, talk to your market, okay? You're not going to come up with these ideas on your own. Great ideas do not come from you. When people come to me and they ask me if their business idea is a good idea, I always just point them, I say, go talk to your market, because I can't tell you if it's a good idea or not, and you can't tell yourself if it's a good idea. So that's part 1 of the offer. Part 2 is the product. This is what a lot of people think of when they think of the offer. But the best offer does not mean the best product, okay? You could have the best product in the world, but if nobody cares about your promise, part 1, you'll be completely ignored. So you can have an amazing product, but if nobody really cares about it, then it doesn't matter. So Domino's Pizza pretty much publicly admitted recently that their pizza tastes like cardboard. And then they went on this big push to improve the quality of their product, because it had gotten so bad over the decades of them just coasting on how good their promise is that they ended up with a terrible product. It didn't really matter, but they started to slip, and so they finally realized, like, okay, we should probably work on our product a little bit. Now, McDonald's doesn't have the best hamburger in the world, does it? No, but they have a great promise. Most of your clients don't care how the sausage is made, just that they get to eat, okay? So your product exists to serve the promise. Without the promise, the product does not matter. I know I'm a broken record, but this is important. So let's look at a famous example. The iPod. Why does the iPod exist? Or especially when it first came out, why did it exist? It existed to put 1,000 songs in your pocket. If it could not fulfill on that promise, nobody would have bought it, but it was great at fulfilling on that promise. It did exactly that. So when we're talking about our offer with our clients, do we talk about Facebook ads and funnels? Because that's what most of you think that we're offering. Just like with this program, when you came to join this program, we don't start talking about the program with how many videos there are in the program or what platform the course is hosted on. We don't focus on the tools that we use. We focus on the promise. So Facebook and funnels, they're just tools. And if you talk too much about them, especially before you talk about the promise, your market might say things like, oh, I've tried hammers before, they don't work. Or I've tried Facebook ads before, they don't work. So we teach Facebook ads and funnels in this program, but it's just a tool to fulfill the promise. And like any tool, like hammers, you have to use it properly to get results. And just because a business owner tried to use a hammer and didn't get results, doesn't mean you can't get results with a hammer if you are a skilled carpenter. And the other thing is that you can substitute other tools to get the same results. So if you're trying to use a hammer and a nail to attach a piece of wood, you could probably also use a power drill and a screw, okay? So the point is that you could literally spin signs outside of your client's business, and if you got them the same result, they'd be happy. They really, most of the time, they just want marketing handled. They just want more customers, more leads, more sales, whatever it is, without them having to think about it. And it honestly does not matter to them how you do it. It really, really doesn't matter. And you're a direct substitute with every other product or service out there that will get them results. So if we offer Facebook and funnels and we're talking to real estate agents, we're competing with Zillow because Zillow will send them leads and we can send them leads. But people generally don't really like a lot of things about Zillow's leads. They're bad leads, they're shared with other agents. And so we say, like, hey, we're gonna make you the same promise. We're gonna use different tools and make a little bit better promise here. So let's look at the trial offer again. We're talking about the product right now. So we do mention Facebook ads, the product in this trial offer. And part of the reason is because this product is desirable because a lot of people are talking about it. So there's a promise associated with the product already. So we can mention it, but only because we have it tied to a promise. If there's no promise there, if we left out the part where we get the funnel up and running and profitably producing sales for free, and we left out the part where we talk about getting more leads, sales, and automation, then people wouldn't care about Facebook marketing. But since we've tied the product to a promise, then it's okay to talk about. Does that make sense? So let's talk about part 3, the terms. So now we have the promise and we have the product. So we're promising pizza in 30 minutes or less, and we have the product, which is the actual pizza. Let's talk about the terms of that offer. Here you can see 30 minutes or it's free. So it's not just pizza in 30 minutes or less, but 30 minutes or less or it's free. Those are the terms of the offer. You can see 30 minutos o gratis below because this works worldwide. That's how good of an offer it is. So there it is in Spanish. This is called risk removal, and it is taking the risk off the customer's hands. So you might not believe that they'll get to your house in 30 minutes, but if they don't, you don't have to pay for the promise. So you're willing to take a chance on that promise, even if it might be a little unbelievable, because they have taken the risk off of you and put it back onto them. If you say the same thing as everyone else in the market, the person with the most proof will win. Now you might be saying, uh-oh, Christian, I'm brand new. What does that mean for me? Because I don't have any proof yet. And that's totally okay, because the person with the most proof will win unless you have better risk reversal. Risk reversal is one of the best things you can do in sales and marketing. It's one of the most effective things you can do. And so let's take a look at this trial offer again and why it works. We'll say we'll put in the hard work to get your funnel up and running and profitably producing sales for free if you're a good fit. What have we done? We've taken the risk of paying an ad agency off of the client and back onto us. So when you have no proof, we remove risk by offering a free trial. This works amazingly well. So you can see KE here says first 2 trial clients in 1 day. And then that was on September 23rd in this example. On October 4th, they say both my trial clients turned into paying clients. So we got them to say yes the first time by removing risk. We got them to say yes the second time by fulfilling on the promise. Pretty cool, right? I think that's awesome. So you don't have to have proof to start out if you can just take the risk off the client. Now, once you start getting proof, once like this person has proof, they can now use it to go out and get new clients and also keep their existing clients. The easiest pitch in the world, the easiest offer in the world is, hey, we're getting these results for this business. Do you want to get them too? And they'll say, do you have proof? And you say, yeah. Okay. So the more results you have, the less your offer matters. So if this seems complicated, The longer you're in business, the easier it gets to make offers. Let's look at how Jamil makes offers. This is on Jamil's Facebook wall. He says, new roofing campaign, 40 appointments booked. And then the next one, 5 days in, 119 roofing leads and tons of appointments flying in. What are those? Those are promises. Those are promises to the market. So eventually, you're just posting proof and the clients come to you. Next, we have urgency. Let's look at this trial offer. Again, there's so many elements of this trial offer. Like if you're brand new and you just look at this offer, this happens sometimes. People look at the offer and they say, oh, I get it. I understand what that offer it is. And then they'll repost it in their own words, and they left out like 4.5 out of 5 elements of this offer that make it work. But if you're new to marketing, you're not going to notice what makes this work. But we have the trial offer that works over and over again. And what do we say? I'm looking for 1 to 2 trial clients. Why do we say that? Because FOMO is very real. Fear of missing out, anxiety that an exciting or interesting event may currently be happening elsewhere or without you. Okay? FOMO is very real. And in marketing, we use scarcity and urgency to get people to act now. It's one of the most powerful forces in sales and marketing. And why is that? It's because people who aren't executives, that means they're not like CEOs, they don't run a corporation. People that run large organizations have to make hundreds of decisions every day. Most of us do not. Most of us don't really have to make hard decisions all the time. And so what will we do? We'll just delay those decisions as long as possible. And so what we want to do is just give people a good reason to decide today. So you can see in this trial offer, we're only looking for 1 to 2 trial clients. And what does that mean? That means if somebody waits to decide if they're going to reach out about it, because again, inertia is very powerful. It's usually easier to just keep doing what we're doing than to change anything about what we're doing. So even to reach out to somebody about a post to learn more takes a substantial amount of effort to get them to deviate from the current path that they're on. So by saying only 1 to 2 trial clients, in their mind, they understand there's a risk of missing out if they wait too long. Then they're going to reach out, okay? So we want to give people a reason to decide today. Let's look at another form of this. Chad says another client in the books, $9.95 for the first month discounted trial. I've used this method with the last few clients we've taken on. Works like a charm. After the first month, we charge our normal $1,500 per month management fee. And I've used this tons of times as well. And all we do is on the call, we say, if you decided to get started today, we'll discount the first month by $500, and then we'll be at our normal rate next month. Now, what does that do? It gives them an incentive to decide today instead of just say, let me think about it, I'll get back to you. And then they go on with their lives and they forget about it and they never sign up. So it's just a good reason to get started today. They get a $500 discount. And we'll go over this more in the sales module, so don't worry about the specifics of this. Another way this works really, really well is we're taking on 1 more client in your city. So again, I've done this with offers like in New York City. If I know there's 3 or 4 businesses of the same exact kind, I'll go in there and I'll just say, yeah, I'm offering this to 3 or 4 of you, but I can only take 1 of you on because otherwise we'd be competing with each other. So whoever gets back to me first gets the spot. This, again, I've talked about how much competition is on business owners' minds. They want to beat their competitors. They don't want to get left behind. They don't want to get put out of business by their competition. And so when you pit them against their competition, you say, I'm going to hand this to your competitor if you don't take it. It's a really powerful effect. And you want to use this truthfully and honestly. Like, you just honestly say how many clients you can take on in that city. You honestly say, I'm going to go to your competitor if you don't sign up with me, because you are, okay? So you don't want to be dishonest about any of this, but just use it to your advantage for sure. So here's Jamil again. He had lots of good examples, so I'm just pulling from his profile. He says, we've got 1 spot. Notice how he capitalizes 1 spot. 1 spot open for new white label partners. So that's going to create that urgency. And then the last part, we have the call to action. Every offer should have a call to action. We abbreviate this as CTA. This is a term that you want to memorize because we use it all the time. It's very important in marketing. But basically, when you make an offer, tell them exactly what to do next. So if we go back to that pie example, you can say, I have 2 unopened iced teas here. I'm willing to give you 1 iced tea for a piece of that pie. If you agree to these terms, just say yes and I'll hand it over. So at the end of that, we just explain to them what to do next. They know, okay, I just have to say yes and we'll make the exchange. Let's look at the trial offer. We got a strong call to action here. We say just respond to this post or private message me and we'll talk about next steps. So tell them exactly what to do next. If they have to think about what to do next, it creates what's called friction or user debt. These are kind of more software terms, but basically the amount of effort that your customer client has to exert to work with you is going to determine how many people actually move forward. You want to make it as seamless as possible. This is one of the biggest mistakes I see people making. Like people on their websites sometimes will say like, email me for more details. That is so much work for somebody to do to go through to get more details. And you're going to see a huge drop off in that process. If there was just a form on the page instead where they never had to exit out of the web page, go over to their email, type in the email address, figure out what to say, and then send it, a lot more people will take that action. So we want to tell them exactly what to do next so they do not have to think. Here's another one from Jamil. He says, comment below and let's talk. You know exactly what to do next, okay? So those are the 5 parts of a great offer. We have the promise, which is the most important part. You need a promise that people are actually interested in. If nobody's interested in your promise, the other 4 elements do not matter at all. Not at all. Next, we have the product. This is what backs up the promise. We have the terms. This is things like risk removal, the terms of the offer. We have urgency and scarcity that gets people to make a decision today. And then we have the call to action, which will tell them exactly what to do next. So once we have our offer, once we have a great offer, which we'll go into detail on, so you don't have to have it dialed in right now. But once we have an offer, we're going to take it on the circuit. All that means is you don't have to get it right the first time, okay? Did you know that stand-up comedians go on stage every night of the week? I'm not joking. The pros, the people that are amazing at it, they're lifelong comedians, they usually live in a place like LA or especially New York City because there's so many comedy clubs. And they will literally go on stage 7 nights a week a lot of the time. And a lot of times we'll see Netflix specials and we say, oh, it's so cool they wrote this material. What you might not realize is that by the time you see a Netflix special, they have done that material every night for 9 months. And they have tested every single line, every single word, every single movement. They've tested every detail of each piece of that act. That's 270 nights they tested that material, and they tweaked it every single night. They'll tape it, they'll watch it back, they'll add one little line here, they'll take away a line here, they'll switch out a word here, switch out a word there. And that is because even professional comedians don't know if something is funny until the audience laughs. And honestly, it could be really funny to them, and they could go try it in a club, and nobody likes it. And so the longer you do something, the longer you do comedy, probably the greater percentage of time something you think is funny will be funny, but you still don't know. And marketers don't know if an offer is good until someone buys. And again, the longer I'm in this business, the greater chance I have of my first shot at an offer working, but honestly, it still fails more often than not before I take it to market. So as long as I'm still living in my own head, I really have no idea if it's going to work or not. Now, the cool thing is that you can really quickly find out if it works or not. This is an iterative process, which means it just goes in a circle like this. We plan out our offer, we put it into place in the market, we check what the market does in response to that offer, we change the offer, replan it, and then go out there and do it all over again. Just like somebody takes their act up on stage with comedy, they might have a really great bit, and they go out there, they do it the first time, it bombs, but they know it's still a great bit. They just have to tweak some words, move things around, change the order, add on some tags at the end. They just have to tweak it. They have to iterate. And so when you have a new offer, you should do about 20 calls with your market to nail down an offer and decide if it's working or not. Now, if you think this is a lot of work, remember, Domino's Pizza came up with their offer in 1984. They're still running it today. It's the same offer. And so 20 calls is not, that could take 10 hours. You could do this in 10 hours. You could figure out an offer that you run in your business for the next 5 years. An offer that hypothetically could make you millions and millions of dollars. So it's not a lot of work to figure out your offer. And even on the first call, you're going to learn so much. You're going to get a positive feedback loop. You're going to be like, oh, wow, I understand how much easier this is than I thought, because all I'm really doing is listening to what the market is telling me. And it's not this crazy creative process where I have to figure out the stuff in my own mind. My customers will actually tell me what they're interested in. So I have this saying in this program, the map doesn't appear until the car starts moving. I didn't make this up. I think it was originally from a mentor of mine, but I don't remember who, so I can't credit them. But it's such an amazing concept in business because it's so revealing. And I'll link to a podcast below this explaining it in detail. But basically, in the business world, you open up maps on your phone if you want to go on a road trip, and it's not going to show you anything. You have to actually get in your car and push the accelerator, and then the map will start to appear. So all that means is, like, if this seems confusing, like you don't know how this is going to play out right now, there's no possible way you could know how your offer is going to play out in the market. The only way is to get in the car and start driving. So the only way is to get on the phone with your prospects, start doing research, start moving forward, and then the map will start to appear. And all of a sudden, it's going to become really clear which direction you need to go. But you won't know which direction until you start moving, okay? Now, the more offers you make, the more success you will have. The more people you talk to, the better your offer will get. The more people you get that offer in front of, the more people are going to say yes, and the more money that you'll make, okay? So just get out there, be open to feedback, and the map will become clear. Your offer will take shape. And then again, once you find like a really killer offer, you'll just be able to run that for years and years, which is awesome. So in summary, there are millions of clients just waiting for you to offer them a good reason to part with their money. People are happy to part with their money if you give them a good reason. They really are. You want to move them away from pain and towards pleasure. Focus on benefits and the before and after, not the features. In business to business, this means increasing revenue and sales, decreasing costs, and saving time. Speak in the language of your market and be specific. And a great offer comes from the market, not for you. Now for an offer equals the promise, plus the product, plus the terms, plus urgency and scarcity, and a call to action. Those are the 5 parts of an offer. If you have less proof than competition, you need better terms. And so the terms we're going to focus on in this instance is risk reversal. It's one of the easiest terms to offer that makes things so much easier. Even when you have a lot of proof and you're doing a lot of volume, if you can take the risk off your clients, put it on you, you're going to make way more sales that way. Use urgency, scarcity, and discounts to incentivize action. This is just giving someone a good reason to make a decision, and then take your offer on the circuit to perfect it just like a stand-up comedian would. I hope this was revealing to you today. We will move on and get into the details of customer research, how to actually figure out what a good offer is, how to test it in your market, and how to formulate that offer. So that's all for today, and I'll see you on the next one.